What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more U2, and we're returning to Rattle and Hum 1988, and we're actually going to do a 2-for-1. We're going to listen to Star Spangled Banner, which may be in the vein of Jimi Hendrix's performance of the Star Spangled Banner. I'm expecting to be instrumental. Of course, it could actually have vocals and a performance of the lyrics, but yes, it made me think of Hendrix's famous version of that, which I wonder how similar to or different from the normal melodic stylings of the anthem it might be, but ultimately I would maybe predict it not to have lyrics and be an instrumental. In any case, we're then going to listen to Bullet the Blue Sky, a live performance of that, a song originally from the Joshua Tree, and which features the phrase that is the title of this album, which is to say Rattle and Hum. So yeah, it feels like in a way this song is very important to this album, which again features a variety of material, some of it from other groups or artists, but performed in U2 stylings, including in at least one or two cases with other musicians, and then in other cases there's been material which is supporting of the more proper songs, shall we say. So I'm really intrigued by this album, and again, I know early on I was calling it a compilation, but that was in part because it had material from earlier albums and seemingly spoken word sections or interludes, so it's definitely an album beyond what I think is often meant by that, where it's just a collection of new recorded studio songs done separate from any live performance material or the re-recording of earlier songs. In any case, I get off track. The point is, we're going to listen to both Star Spangled Banner and Bullet the Blue Sky live, so let's give it a listen. This is U2 from Rattle and Hum 1988, and it is the track Star Spangled Banner followed by Bullet the Blue Sky. Fireworks? Oof.
Take the breath of the angel. rain. His face red like a rose on a thorn bush, like all the colors of a royal flush. And he's peeling off those dollar bills, slapping them down. 100, 200. And I can see those fighter planes. I can see those fighter planes. Across the mud huts where the children sleep, through the valleys and the quiet city streets. We take the staircase to the first floor. We turn the key and slowly unlock the door. A man breathes into a saxophone. Through the walls we hear the city go. Outside it's America. Outside it's America. I can't tell the difference between ABC News, Hill Street Blues, and a preacher in the old-time gospel hour, stealing money from the sick and the old. Well, the God I believe in isn't short of cash, mister. I feel a long way from the hills of San Salvador, where the sky is ripped open, and the rain pours through a gaping wound, pelting the women and children, pelting the women and children. Run, run into the arms of America.
It's such a well-written song. There's such incisive observation and analysis, cutting in some different directions, but of course addressing disparities in power, in exploitation, and also geographically framed as well. But yes, it feels like I was thinking about the album track when I went to react to this from the Joshua Tree, and I was thinking it's one of the examples that suggested to me they really were pursuing a blues rock type of sound, at least in some of their tunes, relative to their earlier sound. And this live performance definitely gives that off, but it also gives off more of a live jam type of feel, which, okay, that's a product of the venue and it being a live recording, but it also has a bit of this like poetry slam meets musical experience type of feel. So there is that blues rock feel, including in Bono's vocals, but it hit differently. It hit more like this, again, music meets poetic art type of feel in this context. And you know, the spoken word type of delivery and the crowd response. I feel like the biggest crowd response before the track ended was when he's talking about, look, the God I believe in, he's not short in cash, and you know, your use of religious sentiment and a desire to make an impact to exploit those who are trying to pursue their religious or spiritual life it felt like the crowd really was keen to articulate their appreciation for that and the way that Bono hits those lines in this live performance. So again, I think it's a really well written tune. I think this was a very dynamic live performance, and I feel like the way that the Star Spangled Banner is played right before this, it just enhances the essence of the ideas and the critiques and the geographical focus of the tune, though again I think some of the ideas can certainly be extrapolated more broadly. But yes, a very dynamic performance, great guitar work, just really rich and powerful guitar. Obviously the drums, they have that live drum sound which definitely makes them very impactful in the rhythm of the tune, which again you can say that about studio recordings, but as I've said all along when I do these deep dives, and I think even in regard to U2 and live performances previously on this album, hearing a tune live, hearing how a band performs a track that you already know in a recorded studio setting, it can just give it this different dimension, and I think this was a great example of that. So once again, shout out to U2, shout out to all the folks who've been following along, shout out to Adam for providing the material, as well as to Mr. Solo before that. Let me know what you think. I will see you next time.
Peace.